Hey guys, Melissa here. In this video I want to show you how I made these cute little coiled hoop earrings. Pretty simple and fun. So just stay tuned and I'll show you how. For these copper coil earrings, the core, actual hoop of the earring, I'm going to use 20 gauge enamel copper titanium, which has a silver tone. You can use silver, you can use copper, depending on how your ear, tolerates it. But I'm going to go ahead and pull out, kind of work harden my wire here. So my hoops aren't flimsy. And I'm going to cut off 3 inches for each earring. Flush cut them, of course. 2 pieces of wire, 3 inches, equal lengths. Next I'm going to coil. I'm going to coil 30 gauge wire onto this 26 gauge wire. So I'm going to be making a coil long enough to put 1 inch of coil on each one of these. So I'm just going to coil some extra so I can cut it off. I'm going to use my drill here. So I'm going to go ahead and make my coils. This isn't a coiling video, so if you don't know how to coil, you can look that up online. I think I have a video using the drill and fishing swivels. This is how I'm doing it now. All right, I've got my coil here. I'm just going to clean up the edges a bit. Once again, this is 30 gauge coiling wire on 26 gauge core wire. And I'm gonna wrap this around my 20 gauge earring wires from my hoops. I made plenty. I coiled about 11 inches. My core wire is about 2 feet, just so I have plenty to work with. But I want 1 inch of coil on each one, and those coiled coils take at least like 4 or 5 inches, so I'm sure I made plenty here. I just coil enough to make 1 inch, and then I snip it. And then I leave some coral wire to finish off with. I'm just going to start it. When you get your coil on, you can move it around to the center, but I'm going to get this started. Coil this core around. I gave myself plenty of core wire so I can wind it around several times. That looks good. I'm going to snip it. Tighten up my coil real nice and tight. Smush them together, tighten them up. Now I'm going to start my double coil here. Make it nice and tight. I gotta hold it tight with my pliers. It tends to slide on me. Eventually you'll be able to let go with your pliers and just twist it and coil it that way. And I go along until I get to about 1 inch of the double coil itself. See how much coil I used already? I'm almost out. So I'm going to stop about there. And then at this point, you got to trim the 30 gauge. But you got to be very careful not to cut your core wire. did the trick. I'm going to push my coil down a bit. Tighten up my coil, and I'm going to make a wrap just about as long on this side as I did this other side. So that is like 1/4 of an inch. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. They look about even. All right, one done. Let me do the other one. It's amazing how this is like a foot of core wire and 6 inches of coiled wire condensed into 1 inch. And do the same for this one. Hard part's just getting it started. Couple more turns. Okay, so I got 1/4 inch. I'm going to snug my coil so I can start coiling. Make your coil nice and tight. Okay, now I can finally grab it and twist it. Keeping it snug. All right, I have some extras, so I'm going to snip that off. And then once again, make about 1/4 inch. And this is what I have left. Not too much left over. All right, future Melissa here. You see my ear wires all bent up already is because I forgot to put my accent beads on, or my accent wire. I'm going to use 28 gauge today. Figure out which way your coils are coiling. Coil that direction. And your wire should fit right into the grooves in between the coils. And adding that really adds a little special something. Do the same to both. Make sure your coil's nice and tight. Sometimes you have a tendency to lose your wire in between the coils. But if they're nice and tight, butted up against each other, then it makes it easier. My coils are loosening, that's why I'm kind of wrapping it around by hand instead of winding it. Now it's working. Okay, find a mandrel. I use these to paint my dragon eyes. I'm just using it as a mandrel, so I'm gonna start in the center here and wrap around my mandrel and cross them over each other at the top. So where they cross, take your round nose pliers and do a half a loop here. Make a little U shape. And this is where your ear wire is gonna hook into. All you need to do is cut it short like that, and then you hook it in. Same with the other side. We try to make them identical. Little U-turn. Try to make them match. Okay, and then next, right at that junction again, you're gonna grab the other wire and kind of bend it up. Just slightly. And you're gonna cut them both to the same length. All right, now I'm just going to take a file the end of this earring smooth so it doesn't snag going into the ear. Okay, here they are, coiled hoop earrings. You know what, I'm going to go oxidize these and I'll come back and I'll show you what they look like. I'll be back in a jiffy. All right, well, this is how the hoop earrings turned out after oxidizing. They have been oxidized, polished with steel wool, and then clean with a toothbrush and soap and water. I think they turned out super cute. I would like to try making these with sterling silver, maybe sterling and copper. I think that would be cool. All right, well, that's it for me, guys. I hope you liked this video. Hit the like button if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.